All right, ladies and gentlemen, on our next episode, we have Debbie from Eastside Witch. We've been talking for the past 2 hours. She's actually a witch, and she does a little bit of spells. She does medium work. She's into tarot cards and energy, and I just want to pick her brain, so I invited her on my podcast so I could just learn some new things about her.
Yeah, thanks
Debbie,
for having me.
Yeah, of course. How you doing?
Good.
Good.
Doing well.
Good. Okay, so tell me about your website, actually. What is it about?
So the whole reason that I came up with Eastside Witch is just I want a place where we can learn, where like minds can come together. I have a strong belief in collective intentionality and just coming together and raising the vibration of our daily lives, I guess.
Cool. So you just want to help people?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, good. What else? And how did you actually get into this type of work or hobby? How do you classify it?
It's really interesting because I
put this up a little bit. Boom. Okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
So I've always felt that I have natural abilities and natural gifts. They're things that I didn't really consciously realize. But as I started to get a little bit more into, just out of pure curiosity, studying witchcraft and studying the occult, I started realizing that things that I experience really line up with witchcraft and Wicca.
Oh, now I want to learn.
Yeah.
What kind of things?
Yeah, well, just how I experience the spiritual realm. I see spirits, how I feel and interact with energy, and how I believe I firmly believe in the law of attraction, that what we put out into the universe, it comes back to us. And one thing that I really especially love about witchcraft, I guess you could say, is that there's the freedom to build your own belief system, and it's respected. So there's not really a set belief system. You can kind of, as you experience it and as what it means to you, you can build your own belief system. So I guess I'm what the witching world would call a solitary practitioner.
A solitary practitioner.
Yep.
Would it be built on like good and evil, or that's not even relevant at a sense?
I think that's all personal. In my personal belief, I don't believe in good and evil. I believe that there is a balance. So yin and yang, there's a light and a dark, and there's a night and there's a day. And I don't really like to entertain the energy or the belief that something could be evil.
So you believe in mainly good things and help other people, and just all come back to you in karma.
Yeah, for sure.
And you mentioned solitary witch. Go into detail on that because I have no idea what that means.
Yeah,
now I'm curious.
It means that I basically build my own belief system. So, and I do it little by little. I'm always learning. I don't ever like to say that I know everything or that, and sometimes things change. The way I experience things, the way that I feel, and sometimes as I learn more, my belief system grows. So constantly moving forward.
Give me an example of something that you believed in, and then you tried something and it changed, a shift in your belief system.
That's a good question.
Right. We're just going.
I guess I could say,
this is scripted, ladies and gentlemen. So this is childhood curiosity here.
Definitely.
At best.
And I would say maybe not a lot has changed, but more developed into a deeper understanding. So I've always, as a kid, I've always sensed and seen spiritual beings. And sometimes I see them with my physical eyes, although I can't ever see them in great detail. Other times I would say what people would describe as psychically. I can psychically, or with my third eye, I can see. That's where I see that.
Pineal gland.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's where most of the visuals come from. But I guess that's one example that I always saw them. I thought everybody had that ability as a child. I would see spirits and always be surrounded by them and communicate with them. And I guess that's where my understanding of what's going on, and even just through understanding that not everybody experiences this, I have been able to understand why me, why am I different?
Okay.
So.
Got it. And, okay, so a lot of people activate their pineal gland, and through the deep meditation or breathing, they're able to see different things. Like, are you in a certain mindset, or are you in a certain state when you're able to see these, I don't know, to call them interdimensional beings, spiritual beings? wanders?
So it depends, and there's different types, and they come for different purposes. They
Mhm.
appear for different purposes. So sometimes I will see an entity and it's completely unaware that I can see it. And those are more, when I experience those, they're standing like as a sentry, they're a protector, they're watching over, and they don't interact much.
Watching over like a
Watching over
sanctuary,
a
person.
space.
Ooh.
There's been one incident where there was always a sentry in this certain area in a household, and I learned that it was guarding a portal. So things could come through that portal, and some of the things that came through that portal were very dark. The sentry was actually guarding that portal. And when
Really?
he wasn't there, things would come through.
How do you know
So-
that? I'm just wondering.
Because I witnessed
Oh,
I
something.
witnessed them coming through. Yes.
Really?
This particular entity was I guess was a grandfather of the people that lived in that house.
Okay.
So he had a personal interest. He was guarding his posterity.
Okay, got
So
it. Got it.
yeah, and he made me a little unsettled, so I asked him to leave, and after that some very dark things came through.
Did he come back?
Came through. Yeah, he did.
Oh, he did.
He did,
Okay.
yeah.
You're like, hey, I want you
Yeah.
back. Okay.
So I realized he was guarding like an entryway or an entry point. So
Okay. And what would you say to
Protection.
people that say, hey, like, where's the science to prove this?
I would say,
Watch Ghostbusters.
yeah. I think science has come a long way in proving and acknowledging that these things exist. But I think that what we typically would define as science or science demands proof.
Yeah.
Science demands proof and usually physical proof, either in a mathematical equation or something that we can put our hands on. Science demands physical proof. Where the metaphysical or spiritual realm, even if you could go as far as to say religion demands faith, and that is the belief in things that are not seen or felt, right? And so I think that's where magic brings those two together. It acknowledges. So if, in answer to your question, if somebody says, where's the science behind this? Well, I don't need proof, and this is my reality, and I'm not asking or telling anyone to have the same reality. This is what I experience.
Nice. And
Yeah.
magic is science we don't understand yet.
Right. I totally believe
Yeah,
that.
that's what it
Completely.
is.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of things we don't understand, like quantum mechanics. I told you that's the doorway in.
Yep, it is.
Yeah, 'cause
Absolutely.
Because scientists are studying that right now. Apparently their consciousness is able to affect it using
Right.
the double slit experiments. But
Right.
they don't even know what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, yeah, this is what's happening. But I mean, I've read a lot of articles and YouTube videos. They're like, we don't know how it's happening. Like,
Yeah.
straight up. The guy asked him, how does this happen? He's like, I have no idea. It's just
Right.
happening.
Right.
So,
Yep. I think, and as I said, I think they're coming a long way, and I think we will eventually be able to prove it because it is science that you just can't prove yet.
and when you're able to see these things, do you just see them randomly, or like, are you in a certain state, or like, or do you have to be calm,
Yes.
angry, or like, are you like meditating, chilled out,
They
drunk?
are always there.
Yeah.
They are always there. And I've witnessed them at different times. Sometimes anger draws a more like we said, the laws of attraction. If you're angry, you will draw in more angry entities. They are attracted to that. And but yeah, no, it's just random. Sometimes I can call upon them. Sometimes I can summon or conjure. I don't do that very often. I don't
Yeah.
really have a purpose for that.
Is that what Ouija's are for?
Is that? I think yeah.
I don't like Ouija's.
And I don't use Ouija boards.
'Cause
I don't.
I don't know, something I've heard or maybe seen in the movies. Like bad things happen because you don't know what you're doing.
So I know a lot of practitioners that do use Ouija boards, and good things happen, and they can use it as a communication tool. And I think they do it more out of the people that they're trying to help sometimes need a physical manifestation of the spiritual. I don't believe, and we've been talking about this, like, are you dependent on tools, or are you, all it is a physical manifestation of that spiritual realm. So there have been some, I have gone to some homes that say that they have a haunting, and I actually do have a spirit box device. Have you heard of that?
No, what the hell's that?
So it works off of like electromagnetic frequencies.
That's
so spirits,
science
yeah.
right there.
So science.
Yeah.
So science can prove that there is something energetically going on when spiritual activity or paranormal activity is occurring.
How does that work though?
And so because it's all energy and it comes through in energy.
Yeah.
It comes through energetically. So when you feel cold on your skin, that's
Yeah.
a real physical response to the energies going on.
Nice.
So
wait, how does the machine work?
So the spirit box. So
Yeah, the
actually what
spirit
it
box.
is it's just radio frequency, and you hit a scan button and it'll scan through radio frequency. So you can do AM, FM,
Yeah.
and you can pick the speed at which it scans. So like when you're scanning for a radio station and you hit the scan button, it just goes do, 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 and you can hear little bits and pieces, but all of a sudden you'll hear a voice come over several channels. So you'll hear a word or a phrase sometimes spoken. I don't use that as much as I do. There's also a temperature sensor that senses temperature fluctuations in the atmosphere, hot or cold. And there's been times where we were connecting with this woman's grandpa, and I said, I think that this is the energy or the spirit that you would call grandpa, and it lit up blue, meaning that it sensed a cold. So I hit the reset button, and every time I said the word grandpa, that sensor would go off.
That's
and so to her, she needed a physical manifestation of the spiritual. So for me, I could see in my mind's eye what he looked like. I could hear the words he was saying. I could feel his emotions. But she wasn't sensitive to that. But she got her confirmation through that physical manifestation. Okay, so that's I guess in a roundabout way, that's all a Ouija board is.
That's all. Well, yeah. The frequency machine, the spirit box, that's what you call it. Yeah. That does make sense because frequency is just energy and messages being transmitted through energy.
Yep.
Which does make sense. I've never tried it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to.
Yeah.
I don't want to mess with that because here's a rule of thumb. Ever since I've been like studying magic, reading about it, just talking to people like, if you don't know what you're doing, don't do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Just don't do it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to just tap into something I don't want to.
You don't want to. That invites entities into your atmosphere,
which I don't want.
Yeah.
I'm good. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. That's interesting. One other thing I want to talk about is, remember we're talking about like how Hollywood sways people's perception of witches and witchcraft. And I mean, ever since I've started studying it, it's like anyone could do this. Right. And it depends on the individual, whether they want to be a good person or a bad person.
Right.
What they could do with, let's just say, power or knowledge, which knowledge is power, which makes perfect sense.
Right.
Like you, for example, like when I was first introduced to you over the phone, I mean, we met today, and before I was picturing this like older lady with like black hair, with like this big nose with a mole on it, and like maybe, I don't know, she had a apple for me. She's like, eat this, sweetie. Or like, but that's horrible because that's what Hollywood's put into my head. Right. And then when you walked in, I was like, there's this beautiful blonde lady that walks in with blue eyes. I was like, what the hell? Like, this is not what I pictured. This is not what I pictured. Yeah. But what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I believe what the world thinks when they hear a witch or a person's a witch. They think evil, they think darkness, they think casting spells and all the negative things that come with that. And I agree, that's Hollywood that has put that in our minds.
Yeah.
And so, but to me, it's a nature-based religion. It recognizes that there are entities and energies in nature that we are connected to, and that we are all connected as human beings. It's to me, it's all good. It's a beautiful belief system. It's about energy and nature and healing and peace and light and abundance and goodness.
That's all true, but there's also a dark side to it too. I just don't want people to be naive. But that's just like anything else. It's like giving someone a gun. Right. They could use it to protect their home or to protect innocence, or they could use it to just kill random people and steal from them. So
that's an excellent analogy.
Yeah, that's how I just thought about it in my head. I was like, oh, it's just like owning a gun. Like, do you give a child a gun? Absolutely not.
No.
Do you give a grown up and then you teach them gun classes and how to shoot a gun and how to put it in a protective place? Yes. And if need be, they pull it out and use it. Right. Or there's thugs on the street that also have guns. So is it the gun that's evil? Absolutely not. It's the individual using it. Or using it for good.
Right. It's intention.
Intention. Yeah, that's the correct term. A clear intention with an elevated emotion.
Yes.
I'm quoting Joe Dispenza. My fans know that. I love that guy. You should look into him. I'm telling you.
Yes. No, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Definitely get some. I have like all his books. So I just came from his retreat, which was awesome.
Excellent.
What else? Tell us more about what you're doing for, you said a pagan.
Yeah, so I'm organizing a pagan market here locally in Sandy City, Salt Lake City, Utah. So I just want a place where people of like mind can gather. And I think when people, again, like with witchcraft, when people hear the word pagan, what does that mean? Is that, a lot
Actually-
of people think ritualistics and
Yeah.
sacrifice and things like that. I think today, and what the world of paganism is kind of the opposite of, or to counteract maybe Christianity, I would say, in a way that not necessarily that you don't believe in Christ, but more in a way that we don't identify with organized religion, right?
Okay. Like I believe in God, but there's
Right.
always so much other stuff too.
Right.
And even in the Bible it says you have the power of God within you.
Yeah. So I'm just putting together a pagan market. So
What do you mean
there'll
a
be
market? Will
a
there be
market. There will
people-
be local vendors there, local small business artisans that can share their artwork and their craft and their.
So it's gonna be like a market for local businesses to sell, like, let's say, crystals and other things like that.
Yep, and it's at a local coffee shop, so people can
Athena
come
coffee
through.
shop. I love that place.
Athena coffee shop.
Yeah, I
So
love that place.
people can come through there and just enjoy each other's company, get to meet other people
Yeah,
that have similar mindsets.
Yeah, that place is a hidden gem.
It's
so
cool.
is this place, Sacred Energy. I
Oh,
like
yeah.
it. I pray for meditation all the time.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
One thing we were talking about earlier that does bother me a little is like I meet a lot of people that like are just became a witch. Like, oh, I'm a witch, and they're doing it for kind of like the wrong reasons, or they don't know why they're doing it.
Right.
And you said that you started a website, and this is why you kind of got into this.
Yes.
To help people, or maybe like hold their hand or guide them. Tell me a little more about that and your thoughts.
Yeah, my website and the reason for building it is I want it to be a learning center so that we understand what is witchcraft really about, and is it about spell work? Can I make a spell and cast a spell on someone to fall in love with me, or can I cast a spell on my boss to give me a raise? That at the true spirit and heart of witchcraft, that's not.
I just thought
guess
of my manager.
encouraged. Yeah.
Yeah, because he watches this podcast and he's probably laughing right now. I didn't cast a spell on you. He gave me a raise last week.
Yeah, that's not encouraged. So if you're attracted to witchcraft because you think that it's going to give you some sort of magical power to control or manipulate people, and to drive your, that's the wrong reason. I don't believe in that, and I don't believe that that's what witchcraft should be used for.
Right.
It's more about can we manipulate the energy around us? Yes, but in a positive, beneficial way to move my life forward.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing: if you're happy and you're just like have a lot of energy, somehow you attract good energy to you, or you could just help out other people around you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree.
Technically, you could use that. I mean, it's been happening to me a lot. And like I've been just helping people as much as I can too, like helping different businesses or helping different individuals at work or off of work, and somehow I just attract more people to me, which we were talking about earlier. And you said your field is being expanded.
Yes. Yep.
What did you mean by that?
So just if I were to kind of, I guess, visualize or look at your timeline and just connecting with you and your spirit and look at your timeline, it's almost like I see it like a funnel. You see, people think of their timeline as just time marching forward.
No, it's not.
It's not. And yours is not a straight line. It's a funnel. It's opening up. So
bigger, huh?
Yeah.
Ooh.
So I mean, like, I'm not going to profess to be a fortune teller or anything like that. But what I can see with you energetically is your realm of influence is opening. And I just think the world needs this right now.
Yeah.
I think we need this.
I think people should have more power to themselves instead. Yeah. Here's the thing. The way I see it is people should have more power within. They should believe in themselves more. If you don't want to do magic or any of that stuff, that's totally up to you, but just believe in yourself. And if you're in a shitty situation, you have the power to change your mindset and your thought process and your vibrations like this, like a snap of a finger.
It's so true.
Right?
It's so true.
And it's happened to me. I've been pissed off. And even when I was in deep meditation, I even came to myself and said, hey, I was just dancing for some reason. I was like, if you ever get sad, just think of yourself in this happy state and no one will ever bother you, which is true.
That is.
And when people piss you off, the way I see it is, am I really going to give this person allow them to, control the way I think and feel?
Right.
Or I could just not allow them to do it.
That's so good.
And just smile and just walk away.
Yeah. You have a choice, and whatever it is, it's your energy going out. Yeah. So are you putting yourself in an energy of anger, or do you just choose to be happy? And then that person suddenly doesn't exist, or they mean very little in the big scheme.
Okay. So about the whole funnel and my energy thing.
Yeah.
So I talked to Debbie earlier, And I was like, hey, just come with me at Sacred Andrew and I'll give you a ride. We'll go get some lunch and then we'll come back. And she's like, yeah, I don't know about that. I'll just I'll just take my own car. Yeah, it's like, I never met you. I'll meet you there, buddy. Like, I don't know where you're going to take me. But anyway, we met, like, now we're cool. You know, like, oh, okay, now I know what you mean. But I didn't have any bad intentions. But, like, I guess what you mean, like, you should always, don't be naive about anything in life. Like, yeah, there's a lot of good. There's a lot of good people, but there's some bad ones too. You know? Don't be naive about certain things.
For sure.
Yeah.
So true.
Okay. What else can you give some advice to people for, like pertaining to magic, or did you say? Because yesterday what happened is I met a girl at the coffee shop, and she had the star,
the pentagram,
pentagram, and like I was just trying to be friendly, and I was like, I already know what it means, and I was like, oh hey, what does that mean to you? And she's just trying to like put it inside. She's like, oh, it's pagan, and it's like your bill's $4. I was like, okay. I was just trying to start a conversation, you know, like, oh yeah, like I've been studying this stuff, but like she was like totally all close to it. I think there might be a stigma. Yeah.
Oh, definitely there is.
So she thought that, you know, I might be like, hey, you're a witch, like you're evil or something.
That's one thing. I think that a lot of pagans, a lot of witches don't talk about it openly. And if people ask, a lot of times that symbol is associated with evil. And the pentagram, I don't know if you know, it's the 5 elements. So it recognizes fire, water, earth, air, and spirit. Spirit is the 5th element.
I've heard of it as also love or ether.
Ether.
And you know, there's scientific proof that ether is out there, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That's crazy.
There is.
Yeah. And you send messages to the ether. I don't know how that works, but yeah. So ether or life, same thing, I guess. Right?
Yeah. Okay. So, and that's the combination of all. We need all those. So the other 4 physical, that one's the spiritual realm.
Got it. Yeah. And so you can see into the spiritual realm?
I can. Yeah. I can.
Okay. How would you be able to describe it to someone? Because I'm not really open to anything like that. Like and I just don't want to be. That's pretty much why. Right. Yeah, I just don't want to, I don't want to see anything like that.
Well, and one thing that I would say in describing it, we are so limited by what we see and what we experience here in the physical. There's a filter, right? Yeah.
There's a veil.
Yeah, there is. There absolutely is. And our minds are restrained by what's here in the physical. So when you say, how do you describe it? Well, I couldn't say it's not like a room like this, or it's not. It can be, but it's created by the thoughts and the intentions of those that reside there. Right. And we, in a sense, we have a spirit in our body. If you believe that, we have a spirit in our body right now. And so our body kind of, that's what the veil is. Our body puts a physical, filter over the spiritual realm. And so what we see and what we can touch, that is very strong, right?
Yeah, it's atoms and neutrons.
So it's almost like a lot of the spiritual realm, you interact with it in your mind or with your third eye. That's why. Yeah. Perfect. Or a lot of times that's why at night spiritual activity is increased, because your physical eyes are weaker. And so, or like in kind of a half dream state, why some people experience what they would call like sleep paralysis or nightmares or things like that, where they feel a real entity present.
Like night terror.
Right. It's when your physical body, when your physical mind is asleep or weakest, or sometimes you'll see out of your peripheral. When you look directly at it, it's gone.
Right. So between 1 and 4 a.m., I've learned that's when your melatonin level is at the highest.
Yeah.
So, which is something that has to do with your pineal gland, and that's when you're able to activate certain things. That's why I wake up at 4 a.m. and I meditate, so I could get into like a nice, nice lucid state.
That's clever. Exactly. Witches call that the witching hour. That's when
4 a.m.
Yep. That's
really?
When between the hours of like 2 and 4 a.m. or 1 and 4 a.m.
Yeah, because that's when your melatonin level is the highest, and that's when it's the dimmest at night.
Yeah.
So there's science behind that too. Your body produces melatonin.
Yep.
And the opposite of that is serotonin.
Yeah.
Which there's light.
Yep. That's your wake up.
Yeah, that's your wake up. That's why I wake up at 4 a.m. now, and I meditate for an hour.
That's actually really clever.
Because that's like the sweet spot.
Yep.
The magic hour in a sense. I mean, technically it's like between 2 and 4, but I'm not waking up at 2 a.m. And then there goes my day. I can still sleep at 9 and have a functioning work day, no problem. But 4 is pretty good.
Right.
Yeah, and it really helps with that.
Yeah, witches would describe that. And again, it's whatever, what flavor do you want to put on it?
I'm just meditating.
So all religions, Witches would say the witching hour, it's the time of day when the spirit realm is the closest to the physical realm, or the veil is the thinnest. So
the veil is the thinnest. I like it.
It's a very high activity time in the spirit world.
And you're more sensitive.
Just because you're sensitive to it. Yeah.
Got
so
it.
that's when most of the best things happen to me too.
Good.
So,
yeah. Good. I mean, I'm not a night person. But 4 a.m, it's cool. I can wake up.
It's a good time.
Yeah, it's a good time to wake up. Because by that time, trouble goes away by the time I leave the house. Like at 5:36, there's no trouble.
You're safe out there.
Yeah, I'm safe out there. And why do you think there's more witches that are like women than men?
That's a really good question. I think that partly what we just picture as a witch. I think it's more acceptable, maybe socially acceptable for a woman to be a witch than a man. There's some people that say, well, if you're a witch, is a male version of you a warlock? Well, I don't.
It's a warlock or not a wizard?
It's whatever they want to be. Whatever they want to be. Most men would call themselves, like in Wicca, it would be a witch as well.
It would be a male witch.
Yeah.
Well, I would just think, but anything could fall into a witch. Like even like me doing the positive thought process. And just like picturing something happening and manifesting, isn't that like witchcraft in a sense? I think of it as just visualization. But
it falls in that realm. And again, whatever label you want to put on it.
Yeah.
Whatever label you want to put on it.
I've also read that more women tend to be witches because you don't have to have brute force or strength over other people. You could like channel energy and feelings, and like you literally manifest or manipulate matter.
Right.
And that's why more women can do it, and they're more susceptible and more sensitive, and like they have more emotions and they have more power to do that. Versus men, it's like just them punch them or something like that.
Right. Well, and most, I guess you would say most witches, if you go into deities and if you go into their belief in God, the most common deity worshipped by witches is the goddess. So not that she doesn't have a male counterpart, but it's more of a feminine led culture. So
it's a feminine culture.
Like the Polynesians are a little more feminine. We're patriarchal. We're very patriarchal here. And so we look to the men as our leaders just by culture. Mm-hmm. In the witching world, it's more of a matriarchal.
Okay. Let me ask you this. So you said psychics and things like that, and you tend to be a little more, women are a little more intuitive, which is a form of being a psychic, right?
Right.
What do you think is the difference between a psychic and an oracle?
A psychic. So I'm not really well versed on oracles.
Okay. I kind of know the answer to it. I just want to get your opinion.
Intelligently, and I've done a little research on it. I always look for. I do my own research, but I always look for a mentor, somebody that can kind of guide me through that.
Will's like a well of knowledge.
Yeah.
He's a psychic that I know in person. The guy that came to my house after we did yoga.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So apparently a psychic is someone like you don't really know the person until they come into your realm, right? When they walk into you, like you feel their energy.
Yeah.
But an oracle is able to see beyond that.
Oh, okay.
Able to see nations.
Okay.
What to do, what'll happen across the nation or the world. So apparently they're just more powerful.
Fascinating.
Yeah. Like that's why they're like presidents and like warlords and kings always had an oracle.
They can see the bigger picture.
They can see the bigger picture, exactly. So that's like the difference. Yeah. I just thought you might know, but there we go.
There we go. I learned something.
But here's the thing: I didn't know any of this stuff until I started like picking people's brains, and now I'm like now I'm becoming like expert, but I still don't know what I'm doing. But it's cool.
Nobody really knows what they're doing.
Yeah,
nobody really knows.
Yeah. What else? Do you have like any fun with this? This stuff.
Yeah. So this is it. It's funny because it's my website started out as a creative outlet, and it actually started.
Tell us what it is. So let's say people are blind.
This is
spell.
This is spell and ritual soap, and so this one is astral travel. This one is, and this was, I wanted to bring a little gift for you, but now after meeting you and energetically, I would have picked a different selection.
Which one would you pick?
I probably would have picked
chill out. Chill out, calm down a little.
No, I probably would have picked Purify Ritual, and probably just to kind of cleanse your aura, cleanse your energy. That's one of my favorite ones before I do any spell work.
Does it smell my aura?
These have nothing to do. Witchcraft is about taking what's in the spiritual realm and in the conceptual realm and bringing it into the physical and manifesting it into the physical. That's one of the wonderful things about witchcraft and combining the two. So that's why witches oftentimes are into crystals. They're into essential oils. So these are combining essential oils, and you're basically, I guess, turning your shower time into a ritual. So
Nice.
a meditation, a meditative space. So this one's astral travel. This one's money
I'll take that
spell.
one.
I always like the money spell. That's popular. This one's shadow self soap. So respecting your yin and your yang. So going into your shadow self
Like
and
your
healing.
unconscious is what we were talking about earlier.
Yep.
So your shadow self is apparently
Yep.
your subconscious, unconscious state.
Yeah, your shadow self is where, in your subconscious, you pack a lot of stuff down there. And so that's where you find your shadow self, that's, your trauma, and you can heal your shadow self and become one.
And let's say someone wants to buy these, where can they purchase them?
Yeah, so I have a couple of local shops that I sell them in, also on my website. So Natural Law Apothecary. I also have some in the Wellness Underground up in Kaysville. There's a couple shops that I have local, but you can find those on my website or Facebook. Okay. We'll say where to purchase those.
And one thing I think everyone's fascinated with is Ouija boards.
Yeah.
We were talking about this earlier. And I'm like, I don't mess with Ouija boards at all. What are your thoughts on Ouija boards?
I think just like any other tool, you can use it for good or you can use it for evil. You have to be careful. You have to know how they work, and you have to know what you're dealing with. So you could look at it as a little gateway or a little portal into the spirit realm. And so if you don't properly protect and guard and put down, witches would cast a circle, which could be a physical or an energetic circle of protection.
Okay.
And they would do that, and only those with good intent could come through, spiritual or physical. And so you really have to know what you're dealing with.
Does people just buy them and just mess around with them, and then
something bad happens? And I think if you don't, if some kid just bought a Ouija board and they were just having a laugh with their friend, I really don't think that you'd go that deep into.
No.
I don't think you could.
What if it's like 2 a.m. and they're doing it like that sweet spot? But I'm talking about all these things are possible, and I've heard of it happening.
No, and I hear you. It's if you go anywhere and use any tool with the intent of inviting the spirit realm through, you can open a portal. You can use any object to open a portal into that spirit realm and invite things to come through, right? So
that's why I don't know the gun. Back to that metaphor.
Yeah. There you go.
I don't play with guns. I don't play with Ouija boards.
Understand them well enough. I'm not comfortable enough.
Yeah.
And that's again a really good metaphor. But yes, I think that you got to be aware of what you're inviting into your home and into your life. So,
and you're talking about portals, and things are coming into this world. Can people go into, hypothetically speaking, into that world?
I think so. Yes, that's astral travel, and the spirit realm would encompass multiple planes of reality, multiple dimensions, I guess, so to speak. So where people go when they die, there would be a plane for that and a dimension for that. I believe that you can connect with other worldly dimensions, their spirit worlds. We can connect through the spirit world there. It's anything in the ether is just what's not physical, what we can't put our hands on, and you can go lots of places there.
You're not talking about dimensions, are you?
Dimensions, the spirit realm is a dimension. When I say the spirit world, that is a dimension.
You mean like the Upside Down in Stranger Things?
That.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
That makes perfect sense though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that, something like that.
Yeah.
Or something
not necessarily.
different.
I wouldn't say I've never seen anything like that.
Okay.
I'm not saying that people can't go there or wouldn't go there, but I've never personally experienced anything.
I'm just trying to grasp it logically, but it's hard because
that's where I'm saying you're trying to put something physical, because for the movie's sake, it is a physical place and you can see objects and it looks just like ours. I haven't experienced anything like that. But you
sensed it, you felt it.
Right.
And there was like your skin was tingling.
Yes.
And you had a spidey sense like there's something going on.
Yep.
Okay.
And I think people can go there. They can.
Okay. And have you ever done like spells yourself?
I do not do spells for other people or for the purpose of putting any intention on other people. I guess you'd say it would be more just like a tea. I've stirred a little magic into my tea. I've thrown some herbs in the pot that are, if I'm looking for abundance or to fill the joy of abundance and, to situate myself in abundance rather than lack. I've used like parsley out of my garden and a little bit of a pinch of salt, and there's so spell work, yes, but
Well-
only it would look more like a tea to you. It wouldn't.
Well, I mean, today when I went like this and I blessed my food
Mhm.
and like with the intention of
That's
just
a
having a good
spell.
meal, that's a spell,
That's
isn't
a
it?
spell.
Technically,
Yep.
yeah, that's what I mean. So
Yeah.
technically, I've done spells too.
Yeah.
But I was just blessing my food, so
Yeah.
I created it for myself. Because
Right.
apparently, like when you put good energy on it, somehow it just goes down easier.
Right.
Like I don't know,
And
it just
you know,
feels better.
I truly believe there's universal truths. So if you're religious, you'd say, I said a prayer over my food.
Right.
If you said, I'm putting intention into my food, I'm putting a blessing or a
Mhm.
spell, or right. So
Right.
the labels, you can label it whatever you want. It's a universal truth. And
But
it
even
does have a purpose.
but I've noticed universally across different cultures, people say a toast.
Oh yeah. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, like even though they're not religious, they are religious. They don't believe in magic. They're against magic. They always like stand up and like they take in my culture. I'm Armenian and like a former Soviet Union. They
Mhm.
take that very very seriously. Like they
Yeah.
have shots. They get up like I just want to drink this toast to this house and this family that's welcomed us in, or I want to drink this toast to our grandparents that were with us or they weren't, or just just young. They like to drink a lot, so there's like a bunch of toasts.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Same thing, right?
I'd
Like
say.
you're trying to like put a clear intention out there,
Right.
like
Right.
like positive, or you'll never get up in public and say, "Yeah, I wish death upon you."
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe in private, I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's the same intention, right?
For sure.
But the way I've learned it is you're just energy. You're just trying to like change the frequency and vibration.
Yes.
Yeah. But there's science behind that. I just need to get some
Yeah.
my hands on some more knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what other information do you think is interesting that most people don't know about witches?
I think we covered a lot of ground. I just think be open minded to it. Be open minded.
That's what
to
I've been
it.
told.
Yeah,
So, like-
and I think that a lot of people choose this path because for me, I didn't want anybody telling me what and how to experience the world and the ether. I didn't want anybody labeling that for me. I wanted to be able to experience it the way I experience it and learn one step at a time. And so I'd say just be open-minded and be respectful and
just know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Though, too. Don't just
Oh,
don't
for sure.
with your eyes closed.
oh, for
But that's
sure,
for
yeah.
anything in life. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, just be respectful. Do you think there's some misconceptions?
Oh yeah, definitely. Even within my own family.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
the more and more I understand is like, okay, there's good ones. And I've talked to someone like, hey, I want to go there. Like, oh, don't go there. Those people are kind of bad.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
They're like, don't go there. And
Yeah.
I was like, okay, thanks for the heads up.
Yep.
So it's just like anything else.
There's good and bad everywhere. There's
Mhm.
good and bad everywhere. Because someone's wearing a pentagram or calls themselves a witch, don't automatically assume that that's ill intent or
No, I didn't. So when I
bad,
talked to the
yeah,
girl at the coffee
yeah.
shop, I wanted to start a conversation with her.
yeah, and she was thinking
She was
you
just
were,
like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't wanna
get rid
talk
of this
about
guy.
it.
Yeah, I don't want to
Yeah.
talk about it at all. I was like,
Yeah.
that wasn't my intention.
Yeah.
Or just like me driving the car with you.
Yeah.
So the same concept. Don't go
For sure.
into something, or don't prejudge people.
It's so true.
Get to know them,
It's so true.
and then you'll see what they're about, and then be like, okay,
That's so true. Yeah.
right,
I agree.
okay. What are some other cool stuff that you've experienced or you've seen on your path to awakening?
Yeah,
Would you call it that?
There's just I guess one thing that I just really love about witchcraft, and it's the nature-based side of it, and feeling completely at peace and at one with nature. I know that sounds cheesy,
No,
but
it doesn't at all.
but
So-
nature has always been where I find my strength.
Okay, but that makes a lot of. Yeah, you good?
Yeah, I'm just
All
gonna
right,
get a
yeah, drink
real
your
quick.
water. Do your thing. Okay, I'll keep talking here.
Mhm.
So what I found is, and statistically proven, is when you actually take off your shoes and you go on grass or go to the forest, your heartbeat tends to lower.
Mhm.
So that means you're more comfortable, and psychologically you're more calm, and you could go into altered states or just elevate your mood. And that way,
Yeah.
if you need to do certain things, makes sense.
Earthing.
Yeah.
Earthing.
Yeah.
Earthing and grounding.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Cool. Anything else you want to tell us? Interesting that we should know about? Like,
I think we
one-
covered a lot. Are there any other questions?
actually,
you have?
there's like one more.
Yeah.
Why do you think different cultures practice witchcraft differently?
I think
Because I went to Mexico, it's like Wild Wild West over there.
Yeah,
I
it's
met a couple
totally-
witches. There's shamans. Apparently, there's towns that are fighting each other, and the town mayor just got up and said, "Oh, the witches are fighting each other, so no one go out at night." And that was in the news. Yeah, that was like, I was like, I interviewed someone. They're like, "This really happened?" She's like, "Yeah, here, I'll show you the article." She showed it to me later, and I was like, "This is real?" I was like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah," and like the mayor got out and said, "I'm putting a curfew because there's witches, actually shamans.
Right.
They didn't call them witches. Shamans are fighting each other.
Okay.
So no one go out at night. It's dangerous."
It's not
I was
safe.
like, "Okay, it's not safe." Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think just like any other belief system, it's a belief system. And so, like religious beliefs, you have different cultures will kind of flavor that religious belief. And you could say a Roman Catholic or an American Catholic, if you went to Mass in America or if you went to Mass in Rome, you might see different flavors. It's culture does definitely flavor. But I think, like you'd say a Catholic or a Mormon, they're both Christian. It's witchcraft. You have different, I guess, types of witchcraft.
Different.
Right?
Okay, got it. Like, okay, different types of food in different cultures.
Yeah,
okay, got it.
Definitely.
And
I think they're all
influences it too.
beautiful in their own right. Yeah. Oh, environmental influences for sure. Using crystals and using things in nature. If you're out there gathering what's available to you, here it would be pine cones and sticks and river rocks and the animals that we have available to us here versus
one place I'm going to is Sedona. Do you know where that is?
Oh, yes.
Sedona, Arizona. Apparently there's a vortex there.
Yep.
But like a high energy that you know who told me about this? Some guy in Mexico, and we're staying at a hostel, and he was a geologist.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, I've been there. And he's like, oh, my friend is working. He's a scientist, and there's like different fields of energy there. I was like, is it real? He's like, dude, 100%. They found variations of higher energy. I was like, I need to go see for myself.
Yeah.
Do you think?
Oh, I definitely believe in that. I definitely believe in that. I have been to Sedona.
Yeah.
And it is, you can feel it psychically on an energetic level.
Really?
Definitely.
There's people that go do yoga and meditation.
Yeah.
I want to do that and just interview some people that live there. Because apparently people feel rejuvenated after they've been there for a couple of days. So I just definitely want to go out there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I believe in that. There's a couple places that are my favorite energetically. I've always kind of had a soft spot in my heart for the Uinta Mountains. And that's where, so kind of eastern Utah. Have you heard of Skinwalker Ranch?
Yeah,
that's right in there.
That's where
and
aliens,
they're saying high energy. So aliens or what may it be? Definitely some high energy centers there. That's just right off the Uinta Mountains.
Okay, like bad, or is it just high energy frequencies?
I think it's just high energy frequencies. Yeah. Okay. And again, I wouldn't say bad, but very, very intense. So
very intense.
It's going to manifest whatever your intentions are.
My intentions are just to relax, chill out. Dude.
Then you got to try the Uintas. You got to try the Uinta Mountains. Moon Lake. My goodness, you'll love it. Okay, Moon Lake is my favorite spot.
So it's in Utah. It's about 2 hours away from Salt Lake.
It's a campsite. Yeah.
So you just go with your car and just chill out there?
Oh, yeah, it's a campsite.
Can I rent a cabin? Or
they have cabins there. Yeah, they do. That's my favorite spot. And if you go with the intention to chill, you will get chilled to the max.
Yeah,
it's beautiful, the energy there. I also love Lava Hot Springs. Have you ever been there?
Yeah, of course.
There's something special about that.
That one is
about
nice.
That town. There's something.
There is something special.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something magical about that town. I've been there numerous times, and on the way back, I always drive. Whoever I take there just chills and just sleeps the whole time.
Yeah,
it's like a 2-hour drive from Salt Lake.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's a nice place. So it's like Lava Hot Springs, natural minerals. Yeah, you go in there and then you just knock you out afterwards.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, I definitely believe though that there are different places that are of different energy.
But Sedona is like top 5 in the world.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a high frequency there, and people go there apparently just for like meditation retreats, yoga retreats. I just want to go there just to see it for myself, or more like to feel it for myself.
You'll have to tell me. You'll have to tell me what you experienced.
Yeah, 100%. You'll really watch it on my podcast for sure.
Definitely.
I want to interview some people there.
Cool.
Like that geologist.
Oh yeah.
Like what their findings are.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Cool.
Very cool.
Right on. Thank you again. Tell us one more time what your website is and.
Eastsidewitch.com.
Okay.
Yep. And then we're also doing the pagan market. We're our target. That's still kind of in the works. But our target is to do it every last Sunday of the month.
Nice.
So starting in April.
Cool. Right on. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you.
Of course.